Okay, this is the HVAC indoor air handler systems. But we're not through there yet. We're not through with the electrical. This is a third panel, sub-panel, if you will. And it's kind of interesting. One, it doesn't have sufficient service access in front of it. I had a water event here. Well, we got 15 amp gauge wires going to 20 amp circuit breakers. And then over here, you see how you can double lug grounds, because the only time they carry current, supposedly, is during an emergency. Whereas neutrals carry current continuously. Alright? So you're not supposed to double lug neutrals. They put a ground over here. They have plenty of room to do it right. They just had to do it wrong. So you've got a neutral that's double lugged over here. And wrong on top of wrong, whereas in the main service panel, the one out by the electric meter, okay, the neutrals and grounds, they're all running home. And they can be on the same bus bar. But in a secondary panel, these are supposed to have their own bus bar. You're not supposed to put grounds and neutrals on the same bus bar. They're supposed to be separated. And again, the cabinet was screwed into place with drywall screws. But this is for the air conditioning systems. Excuse me, indoor air handlers, furnaces, and the evaporator coils. These are our air filters here. You just open up the handle right there. It's 20 by 25 by 1. You're going to want to change these. Yeah, you are. You want to change these anyway. They're supposed to change them about once a month. And so you need a baseline. You even got a filter in here? Yeah, you do. It doesn't fit very good, does it? That wasn't me. 20 by 25 by 1. Oh, yeah, since you're all messed up, since I'm in here. Let's see what I should pull the other one out. I always commit to the wrong cause, don't I? That's dirty. Okay, this floor in here, it's so, you know, it was okay when this home was built. But that floor, by today's standards, when these units were replaced, because these units are about 4 years old, the whole HVAC system is about 4 years old. And so when these units were replaced, they shouldn't have just updated the electric service panel over there like they did. But this plenum, the return air plenum, should have been lined with a galvanized floor. Or, you know, plastic if it's UL approved to do that. And I'll put that back. Alright, these clips, they're notorious for coming apart. And guess what they did? They came apart. This is your primary drain line. This is your secondary drain line. You're not required to have a secondary drain line when you have a safety switch like this. Some people call them a float switch. You see this P-trap? It's supposed to be insulated like this. But it's also supposed to be a deep P-trap. These P-traps are shallow. Oh, well, that's a hard call. I might just leave that alone. Honestly, is that 3 inches? Boy, I'm going to call it shallow P-trap. I could be wrong. These are our flues. Okay, so both of our furnaces commingle to a single flue going through the roof. That's acceptable. The only problem with this is that they taped all the connections. The connections should be faceted. It should fit together. You do not tape the connections. Sorry. I don't have a lot of energy, Mr. COVID. Then you're supposed to have air intake into this room. okay, for combustible air. And we don't have any. It comes from these doors. And these doors are supposed to be sealed. So if there's any carbon monoxide that leaks out of here, spills out of here, it doesn't come into the living space. These doors should have been sealed. But then we wouldn't have any combustible air. That's our makeup air, you know, so you don't pull a vacuum. And when this home was built, by the way, screens or grills were acceptable for the makeup air. But by today's standards, they're not. So we've got a grill on the makeup air. We don't have any combustible air, and the doors aren't sealed. The exhaust vents are improperly sealed with tape. Got shallow P-traps. And our return air plenum is not lined. And our air filters are dirty. Did I say